Prepare yourself now to go through a wave of emotions you have never felt before. The longer you watch these videos, the more disturbed you will be. Welcome back to another video. I have gone down a very dark rabbit hole last night for us to watch many disturbing videos. Viewer discretion is advised.
Saw like 2 days ago. He ordered a whole tank of acid.
Acid?
To do what? What do you do with that?
Dissolve a human body.
Bro, I saw that. You watch Breaking Bad?
Yeah, like bro,
he did that shit.
But the crazy thing about that, he requested a wire transfer request worth of $4,373 of sulfuric acid. What's crazy about this is he ordered this once the FBI opened the case of him doing
all that stuff.
Yeah. So it's like, why are you ordering this? And then I'm seeing more stuff. Do you know he had like in his house, the island, a trap door that leads straight to the sea?
He had that?
Bro, straight to the sea. Just literally a door and it's just water. So I feel like, bro, all these things, there has to be more traps that leads to him dissolving a body, killing a body, letting go of the evidence. He's Jigsaw, bro.
If buying that many gallons of acid after the FBI just opened up a case on you doesn't scream guilty, I don't know what to tell you. Especially having a trapdoor easily accessible to the water, being able to dispose of any said items you please, yeah, you're hiding something. Why do you need almost nearly $5,000 worth of acid that we all know what it's really meant for, especially after the FBI opened up a case on you? If that does not scream guilty, come on.
Cameron Diaz is in the Epstein files. Michael Jackson's in the Epstein files. But you know who's not? And let's do a little celebration. You know who's not? Everyone thought he was because they thought he was weird. Fucking Tom Hanks, baby. Woo! Forrest Gump is not in the Epstein files, Lieutenant Dan. That's right. He's not. America's dad is not in the Epstein files, okay? Yeah, Woody liked to play with them, not diddle them. Big difference. Take care, stay black.
French police just raided multiple locations in connection with the Epstein investigation. So let's break it down. French police searched the Arab World Institute in Paris on Monday, February 16, as a part of an investigation connected to its former head, Jack Lang, and his links to Jeffrey Epstein. Jack Lang ran the Arab World Institute since 2013 and resigned this month amid scrutiny. Prosecutors opened a preliminary investigation into Jack Lang and his daughter on suspicion of tax fraud after new Epstein-related documents were released. France's national financial prosecutor said that the Arab World Institute was among several locations being raided. Lang has said that he was unaware of Epstein's crimes, even though he corresponded with Epstein between 2012 and 2019. Their lawyer has repeatedly denied wrongdoing, stating that there was no movement of funds. This isn't a single raid. Reporting says that Paris prosecutors have set up a dedicated team to review the Epstein materials and coordinate with financial prosecutors and national police as more potential cases are evaluated. This is a developing story, so stay tuned for
Epstein Files update. Apparently they talked about the devil's lettuce and how people that use it are much harder to manipulate. And that's not even the surprising part. Honestly, the craziest part is that they specifically said that people that drink alcohol are easier to manipulate. And that's the reason why they promote alcohol use and they demonize devil's lettuce use. I feel like we've known this for a long time, to be honest with you, as a society, but I'm glad that it's like finally out in the air and maybe a lot of people will finally accept that.
A ghost photo with receipts and history. I'm set. A photographer took this while they were there, like taking photos of the house, and the realtor was there with them. As soon as they got there, the homeowner was like, hey, heads up, this house is haunted, because back during the Civil War, it was a hospital for a little bit, and then they were like operated on in here, and then they were moved out into this field in tents like this, where they just they were just waiting to see if they made it or not. A lot of them didn't make it because they were literally doing like operations like this, right? So then they would be put in these big mass graves out in this and just kind of forgotten about, which is horrible and sad. And then ghosts like these show up. Now, people are saying that's not a ghost, it's a trash bag, whatever. So let's zoom in on it. Doesn't look like a trash bag to me. They said that they were taking a photo of the tree that kind of looked like it was smiling, and they would have noticed that that was there, and it wasn't there when they took the photo. Looks a lot like this style of dress, don't you think? Yeah, I do. I really do. People were still debating it, being like, you know what? No, it's a trash bag. It's just like a lens flare. It's something. So they did a side-by-side. The realtor went back to the house, took this photo, tried to get it like as good as they possibly could. I don't know. But you can see like right here is where that should have been, and it's not there. So looks like a ghost to me. If it looks like a ghost, walks like a ghost, stands like a ghost, maybe it's a ghost. What do you think? I'm sure you'll have something to say, and I can't wait to hear it.
Y'all remember when boxer Ryan Garcia exposed what was happening in the Epstein files in 2024 and everybody called him crazy?
Oh, I don't give a Bro, they held me down and they made me watch little kids get. I don't give a anymore. They took me to the woods, bro, and they tied. I'm not fucking joking, bro. I have fucking proof, bro. I don't give a fuck. Bro, I fucking will show you every fucking video you could ever fucking believe. Bohemian Grove is real. They fucking tied me down and they made me fucking watch, dog. I absolutely don't give a fuck anymore. I don't give a fuck, bro. I was 2 years old. Yes, I fucking lost it. They're little kids.
So, he doesn't want to take us all, so let's go. Come on, man. He doesn't want to take us. Come on.
Fuck this guy. Bro, fuck this dude, dude.
Who?
Bro, you know the higher elites, bro. You already know who they are, bro.
You know the path you're going down is dangerous, my friend.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. They can't touch me. I'm a god.
I care about you a lot, and I can assure you from my own personal experience that they can touch you. Well, bro, my door gets kicked in if I say what I'm thinking. You know there's going to be people who believe you're just saying this because you've, I don't know, had a mental breakdown or taken drugs and you're repeating some of the things you said on the internet.
Of course they're going to want that, and I have all the information possible. The right time, I'm going to release all of it. But they're already calling me to tell me to stop. I don't give a fuck, dude. I'll finish playing the rest of the video and also reveal the place that he's talking about where he's seen all of this happen.
Creepy Real Photos That Keep Me Up at Night Part 62. This photo was sent to me by a viewer. They said, when I was younger, I went to an all-boys summer camp in New Hampshire every summer. The camp was founded in 1903, so as you can imagine, there was no shortage of ghost stories or old creepy camp tales. At the end of every summer, the entire camp would get together to take a camp photograph. All these camp photos hang in the counselor break room dating all the way back to 1903. One in particular, the 1913 camp photo, used to create a lot of ghost stories for good reason. Here, you'll see the photo in question. It's a seemingly normal camp photo with a strange ghostly figure in a white gown hovering above the staff. Follow for more creepy real photos.
The Epstein Files reveal the largest genocide in human history, and it is being hidden from your eyes. 8 million children go missing every single year. Look at all these people with black eyes. Politicians, your famous actors, the Pope, high-level people. They all participate. This is an email from the Epstein Files. All you need is a blood transfusion from the pack and you reverse aging. Adrenochrome is the molecule created in adrenalized blood, meaning when your adrenaline is high, when you have fear, right? That's why when little kids are tortured, they have more adrenaline in their blood, and then they drink it. It gives them a high. It also makes their skin look younger. And I've known about this for quite some time. There are whistleblowers who came out who have been trafficked who talk about this. It's known, but now the Epstein Files just proved it. See all these celebrities with black eyes? That's not by accident. That's because before they do you know what to the kids, they have to get punched in the eye as a humiliation ritual. It goes even deeper than that. You see, the reason these people have so much power and influence is because when you do ritualistic magic with a child, that child is closest to God, the spirit world, so it creates universal energy. When you kill a child, it creates energy in the spirit world. They're utilizing that energy for whatever they want in the world. They're actually taking that ritualistically. It's magic. It goes back to the Aztec and Mayan civilizations. Yes, these people are sick, demented in the head, but it's also way deeper than you can even comprehend. They're targeting children because they're powerless and they're closest to God. We need to stop this. We need to save the children. And guess what? Even all of these Epstein Files released, I guarantee nothing's going to happen. None of those people will be prosecuted, right? Because they have the power, right? They're the ones doing ritualistic magic. They're the ones with the highest levels of power, wealth, influence in the world. We need to put an end to this. It is up to us. It's in our hands.
A lot of people have been commenting that this video of Les Wexner's attorney telling him to stop responding in more than 5 words is AI. However, it was the House Oversight Committee that released the video of the deposition, which I will link in the comment. And this exchange can be heard 4 hours and 25 minutes in.
Are there hidden graves on Epstein Island? Take a look at this historical image from 2006. What are all these little dirt mounds? Now follow with me. Here we see 2009, 2013. And as we go through the years, those dirt mounds disappear and a tennis court is built atop that mound. Now, that isn't unusual. This is, after all, an island owned by a billionaire. However, you can see it's close to the temple area, and we still haven't fully explained what those dirt mounds are. Now, they could be trees, they could be something totally natural, and I might be reaching here, but I saw someone talking about this online and I thought it was really peculiar because then years later in 2019 and 2020, all of a sudden the tennis court is gone. After Jeffrey is arrested and found dead, the tennis court disappears and the area returns back to dirt and earth. So what were those mounds? Why was the tennis court built so hastily? Why was the tennis court removed in the first place when everything else on the island remained, like the temple and the sundial? And I mean, I don't know, I'm not obviously a topographical master and I don't understand really what I'm looking at, but this does look really strange to me. So if you have any ideas on what I'm looking at, please let me know in the comments.
Do you know that Disney had this massive multi-million-dollar water park that sat abandoned for 17 years? Welcome to Secrets of the Kingdom, where we dive into Disney's lore, forgotten history, and crazy urban legends. Disney's River Country opened back in 1976, and this place was so unique. First off, it had a really unique water filtration system that actually pulled water from Bay Lake and circulated it through the park versus your standard chlorinated water system that you'd see in a lot of other water parks. This water park was also inspired by Huckleberry Finn, and it had a really rustic vibe. It had lazy rivers, rock slides, rope swings. The Imagineers basically just really wanted to pay tribute to Huckleberry Finn and those wild Mississippi adventures. It was charming, it was rustic, and it was really a fan favorite until they unfortunately had to close the doors in 2001. One of the biggest myths as to why this park had to close is the lore around the brain-eating amoeba that was actually in the water here. So while it is true that unfortunately somebody did pass away from the brain-eating amoeba in this water back in 1980, River Country actually stayed open for 21 years after that. The real reason that it closed was because of the Florida building codes. Basically, a new code was implemented that required all water parks to use chlorinated water. And unfortunately, it would have been very expensive for Disney to transfer over their irrigation system that they had with Bay Lake over to chlorinated water. And that change in code is what ultimately forced them to close their doors on River Country for good. The craziest part about this is that this park was just left to rot for nearly 2 decades. A lot of urban explorers snuck their way in here and they found that these slides were still standing, covered in moss and reclaimed by the landscape. And the creepiest part about this is that a lot of these explorers claim that the park music was still playing on a loop for years after the park officially closed. That park music just echoing through these empty, overgrown ruins of what once was. It's important to note, though, that if you're looking for these ruins today, you are out of luck. In 2019, Disney finally began motion on demolishing some of these remains to make way for their new DVC resort. And that is the Lakeshore Lodge, which is slated to open in 2027. So as you can see here, they've reclaimed where River Country was, and they're putting this brand new beautiful resort right on top. All in all, the era of the old-fashioned swimming hole has sadly come to an end. River Country is officially a thing of the past. But we're curious, are you planning on staying at that new resort and checking it out, or do you wish that they actually fixed the irrigation system and kept this park running? Let's talk about it in the comments, and if you haven't already, be sure to hit that follow because we have a bunch more Disney history, lore, and nostalgia coming.
Remember when the CIA tested us for psychic abilities in school? Watch this.
Probably don't remember, but if you went to public school in America in the 1990s, you were 100% tested for psychic ability. The GATE program was the Gifted and Talented Education Program. I was a psychic in the Navy, and the number one question I get when I tell people that is, how did you get the job? Did you just walk in there and ask them for it? And I always have to tell them no, because that is not how it works. I actually got discovered when I was in elementary school at 10 years old through the GATE program. The GATE program was actually run by the CIA, and because they did it in elementary schools, most people assume that they meant gifted and talented, like you may be gifted at reading or talented at math. That's not what they meant, babe. They meant, do you have a gift? Are you talented at psychic ability? First of all, what they were looking for was people to serve in the military, and they were looking for somebody that was good at a specific psychic ability called psychometry.
Everyone has a story about a kid they went to school with that was in this program that they didn't see anymore. They either quote unquote moved schools or were in a different class. Some of these kids now are probably definitely in the military, maybe even being used as weapons by the United States government. As always, let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching. Until next time, stay weird, y'all.
Why is it so important that all of this stuff gets released out into the public? Maybe because crimes that happened over 36 years ago can now be solved. Simply because of sharing what is in these emails, pictures, and videos. And this was only made possible because they are finally starting to declassify all of this. A woman from Sweden who was assaulted in the 1990s and never reported it because she never knew who her assailant was. She went through the declassified pictures and found him. Not only did this now 56-year-old woman from overseas recognize the man, was able to identify him and locate the exact location of where her assault took place. Her assailant turned out to be one of the recruiters of young girls and women. Just like all of the dirtbags involved in this ring of monsters, he has denied any wrongdoing, but she has now been able to file a criminal complaint against him after having to carry this attack with her for 36 years. All thanks to these pictures and emails being made public. It takes down an entire group of powerful men. Those men never should have had power to begin with.
Quick pause. If you're still watching, thank you. While you're here, please leave a like, comment, subscribe.
The Epstein Files in Disney movies. In Peter Pan, he takes the kids to an island where he's obsessed with youth and never growing up. In Pinocchio, the man says he's collecting little boys to bring to Pleasure Island. Where they do adult things, they turn into donkeys and he sells them into slavery. In Monsters Inc., they scare the children to get their energy for their own energy. What does that look like in that yellow tube? In Tangled, the old lady steals a baby so she can stay young. In Hocus Pocus, the old witches steal a child's life to stay young. And it says this at the end of the movie Enchanted.
You won't believe the reason why Mermaid Man always yells. Now you think Mermaid Man does this every time. No, he only does it at a specific time in specific scenes. And it's only when Patrick Star is around. You'll see in early episodes, he'll yell evil when Patrick's in the room or nearby. But then there's scenes when Patrick's not there. Mermaid Man does not yell it. This is a reoccurring thing. And they did it so many times that it seems like it was for a reason. But how could Patrick, this dim-witted moron, actually be an evil genius in disguise? Well, there is a few things. Somehow, Patrick knew how the Wumbo belt worked when nobody else knew, not even the #1 fan SpongeBob. And we've seen Patrick have super strength. We've seen him fly in an episode. And to me, this is the most telling evidence that no one's brought up yet. In an episode, Patrick's head falls off when he falls off a cliff, and we get a view inside of his brain. And his brain has a plug and outlet, meaning Patrick is not Patrick Star. He's a robot. He's a machine created by some evil genius, maybe Man Ray, the Dirty Bubble, Plankton. And when he has an evil brain plugged in, he can be completely controlled. So maybe Mermaid Man is the only one that's able to realize that he's a robot with evil software.
This video is going viral right now on Twitter because this woman brings up some very interesting things about the education system.
After 13 years of government education, the average 18-year-old is economically and historically illiterate. They do not know anatomy, nutrition, or native plants. They cannot build a house, work on a car, or farm. This is a massive waste of potential. No other time in history were people this incompetent. Homeschool your children, and remember, education is not exclusive to a classroom.
Never mind all that, which is true. It is shocking the amount of similarities between school and prison. Not always a dress code, but definitely authoritarian structure. And you may be thinking, what do you mean? Well, you raise your hand, you ask a teacher, they're the authority. You get used to having an authority figure that isn't a parent, by the way, which is very telling. Emphasis on silence and order. Yes, raise your hand to go to the freaking bathroom. And what's with that? Walking in lines. Oh yeah, my late father-in-law always said, if people are in line, you go the other way. Get away from the freaking line, man. Don't line up. Loss of individual autonomy. Yes. Abridged freedoms. That's true. You have to be here at this time. Yada, yada, yada. Regimented. Boo. No input in decision making. True. They'll pretend it's called actually the Delphi technique. Look up the Delphi technique. DELPHI. And it's a way where they basically, let's say a city or a town is going to impose this new thing. They'll invite everyone to come give their opinions and what do people think and should we be doing this? But it's all for show. They 100% are doing it anyway. They're just pretending to want public input. But it's called the Delphi technique. Check that out. And then set times enforced for walking, eating, etc. That's literally true, man. Not to mention the artificial lights, which we know reduces the lifespan by about 50% in fruit flies and chickens that are under artificial light. And that's not even to mention the Wi-Fi that are now in schools frying people. I mean, this is freaking crazy, man. They also, of course, teach that GMOs and fluoride are so good for you and that your pineal gland is just this little thing that regulates a bit of hormones and that's all. If you want to decalcify and support the healthy function of your pineal gland, right now Chalk is giving away free superfoods. This is the Chad Mode. It's all natural pre-workout energy drink with 150 milligrams of organic caffeine per scoop, plus organic blue spirulina, which is super detoxing. If you combine that with the Chalk Lit Powder, we're talking stem cells, we're talking brain, we're talking pineal gland. Comment free below and check your DMs for details.
This woman is able to capture something strange in this video. She goes to a computer center every day, where every day she sees this man watching these videos, could this be a mental problem or a time traveler? Let me know in the comments.
I cannot unsee what I just saw. Everybody has been talking about this documentary, and now I can see why. This is about the areas of the dark web where predators go to abuse children and the officers whose job it is to find them. If you love documentaries, hit follow because I post daily and you'll never miss out on what's new. First of all, it is disgusting the number of people who participate in these dark websites. And it's astonishing that the people whose job it is to find them find any of them. In one case covered in this documentary, there's a girl who had been abused for years, and they rescued her by identifying the brick wall in the videos of her being abused. Some of the people caught in this documentary are caught abusing babies. And when the officers find them and arrest them, they're with children. And then they think that they found the guy at the top of this dark web community, and turns out he's not even the guy at the top. And these poor guys who work in this industry, they have to watch this stuff on a regular basis and then go about their lives as if they didn't just see the most horrifying thing. You guys have to see this. It's insane. Let me know what you think about this in the comments.
Universal Orlando might be going underground. Literally. Elon Musk's company, the Boring Company, was just selected a negotiated deal to connect Universal's parks with a next-gen transportation system. Think Epic Universe, City Walk, the hotels, all potentially linked without sitting in traffic. Right now you've got buses and cars, that's it. But Musk's team is known for the Vegas Loop, underground tunnels moving passengers point to point in Teslas. So the big question, how do you build tunnels in Florida with our water table? If this happens, it could be Universal's version of Disney's monorail moment. So what do you think? Futuristic game changer or Florida engineering nightmare?
Does Jeffrey Epstein have a son? Because in the new Epstein drop, an email reveals that he does. Look at this. In this email to Jeffrey Epstein from somebody named Sarah, it says, "Don't know if you're still on this BBM, BlackBerry Messenger, but heard from the Duke that you have had a baby boy. Even though you never kept in touch, I am still here with love, friendship, and congratulations on your baby boy, Sarah XX." Followed by, "You have disappeared. I did not even know you were having a baby. It was so crystal clear to me that you were only friends with me to get to Andrew, and that really hurt me deeply, more than you will know." With all the talk in the email about the Duke and Andrew, you have to assume that Sarah is Sarah Ferguson, Prince Andrew's former wife. You know, this guy. This email was sent in 2011. So if Jeffrey had a son that year, it would mean that he would be turning 15 in 2026. Now, Mark Epstein, Jeffrey Epstein's brother, has always said that Jeffrey never had any kids. But is it possible that he just was not aware that Jeffrey had a son, similar to Sarah? Or if he did have a nephew, that he wouldn't say so to protect him. As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
He SA'd babies and persuaded their mothers to participate. 35-year-old Ian Watkins was the lead singer in a band called the Lost Prophets. Ian used his fame and his status to gain access to children. Ian had over 27 terabytes of data, which consisted of thousands of inappropriate photos of children. Ian would SA his underage fans. Ian even attempted to SA an 11-month-old baby boy and a 1-year-old baby girl. Ian would film himself SAing children in hotel rooms and broadcast the abuse over webcams on the internet for other creeps to see. Ian would look extremely delighted and happy in these SA videos. Ian would find mothers who were fans of his band and persuade them to give him their babies. Ian would even ask the mothers to SA their own children with him, and sometimes they would do it. Ian had texted a fan regarding her baby, stating, "If you belong to me, so does your baby." Investigators found messages where Ian had talked about planning to get babies extremely addicted to hard drugs. Ian had planned to do so by blowing the smoke from the drugs into the babies' faces. Court documents show that Ian's ultimate goal was to debase children so their only identity would be S objects for his own pleasure. Ian was only sentenced to 35 years in prison, but Ian was brutally unalived by another inmate in October of 2025. Also, the mothers that were involved in SAing their own children with Ian were sentenced to 14 and 17 years in prison. What do you guys think of this case?
That is absolutely sickening to know that this man had the mentality, the mindset, and executed said things that were said on that video. I'm not going to say any of this. You just watched the video, so you know what's going on. But thankfully, that person in the jail cell was there to handle the business because, yeah, it needed to be done. What do you guys think? That's absolutely sickening.
Jeffrey Epstein documentary on Netflix isn't just an ordinary documentary, it's a reminder of how power protects monsters. Jeffrey Epstein wasn't just a billionaire. Behind the private jets, the mansions, and the elite connections was a system that was built on exploitation. The series centers the voices that were unheard and ignored, the young girls that were groomed, and the people that were hurt during this, while Jeffrey Epstein was freely roaming around, protected by wealth and influence. So disturbing about this documentary isn't just what Epstein did, it's more of like who knew and kept it a secret and didn't do anything about it. Other powerful people. In 2008, Epstein received like a secret plea deal that none of the victims knew about. It allowed him to leave jail 6 times a week. He was finally arrested again in 2019. Everyone waited for answers, everyone was eager, but he mysteriously died in his jail cell before he could testify anything. If you're curious about finding out more about what he did and who these people were, I highly recommend watching this Netflix series.
I need to watch that documentary because I had no clue that Epstein had a plea deal allowing him to leave jail 6 times a week. In other words, he was in jail only 4 times out of the entire month. How is that fair? How is that actual punishment? That is insane. That just shows to you how this world is corrupt and messed up, leaving the rich to do whatever they want just because they have connections and money. Doesn't matter who you are. Clearly doesn't matter.
I just found out that water doesn't actually exist anymore. It seems like water is actually just ice that they collect from Antarctica, and then they'll put it through a factory, and then they'll melt it down until it turns into a liquid, and then they'll put that liquid in bottles, and then we'll buy it and eat it. I don't think there's anything more worse than this.
Watch the doorway, y'all. Did you see it? It happens again. And right about here. Well, if you didn't see it, that's okay. It's really hard to spot at first. These people were fixing to go in this haunted house and wanted to get a video of the outside of it. Just pay attention to this right here. Did you see it go back behind like whatever is draped over the door? And you can see it moving right there. And one final time, it walks across the door frame into the other room. And when you slow it down, you can really see that it is an apparition of what looks like a human. It almost looks like a man wearing overalls with a white shirt. And this is a farmhouse. There it is. It's as large as the doorway. Just looking out at them. Now, they did go inside this house and film, and they didn't catch anything on the inside. But they did catch the apparition, checking them out before they come in the house. Let me know your take on this one. And are you seeing an old farmer too?
This CIA agent exposes how the government can take control of any device around you.
We know that they can take remote control of your car and make you drive off a bridge. Any car? Any car. Any car that has a computer in it. Which is every car, unless you're driving a, 57 Chevy or something. We know that they can take any smart TV, and turn the speaker into a microphone so that it broadcasts what's being said in the room, even while the TV...
What is going on with 2026? We are barely a month and a couple days into 2026, and we already kidnapped the president of Venezuela, declared war on Greenland, and the Epstein files got released. Our president and over 150 elites were there, along with the creator of GTA. But no, there's more. Someone tried to break Luigi Mangione out of prison, and someone elected Charlie Kirk for a Nobel Peace Prize. At this point, traders on Polymarket saying that Jesus will return before 2027 does not even sound that far-fetched, because who cares 2026?
Yeah, this one gives me the chills. A woman took a cute photo of her kids peeking over a fence. The fence is a surround for a swimming pool, and on the other side of the fence is a graveyard. The kids said they were curious and wanted to look out into the graveyard. But in this seemingly normal photo, the woman captured a figure whispering to one of the children. There is a creepy gray face with glowing white eyes, with its mouth open, and it looks like it's talking in the ear of this child. Now, I'm not sure if the spirit is attached to this child, but I have noticed a recurring thing with photos of ghosts near water, and that is they do look like drowned victims. They are gray, they look bloated, they're usually kind of shiny, and that's what this looks like to me. So I'm wondering if maybe the spirit was attracted to the pool And I'm not sure, but it kind of does look like this spirit is a child. It has a very small nose and mouth, and its head does seem to be about the same size as the other children's heads. What do you guys think about this? Let me know. And don't forget to like and follow from
Creepy Real Photos That Keep Me Up at Night Part 83. This photo was posted to Reddit with the caption, "We were having a bonfire at the end of Hatteras Island in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. My wife snapped this picture and not only caught that image, but it also looks like my kids' and grandson's faces are all blurred. Is it Blackbeard joining us for s'mores?" Follow for more creepy real photos.
Jersey Shore's Snooki has revealed in a new video on social media that she has been diagnosed with stage 1 cervical cancer. In the video, she reveals the entire diagnosis, appearing very optimistic that they caught it so early. And then she went on to use her platform to tell other women to get their pap smears to make sure they are regularly getting checked for illnesses like this.
50 Cent heard that Jay-Z was in the Epstein files, and he took to Instagram to say, "I gotta do a doc on this shit." And then he at Jay-Z. This is why I just love 50 Cent.
Yo, y'all remember the boy Shia LaBeouf, right? Like the main cuz that used to play in Transformers and shit? Yo, he was trying to tell us some shit. Listen to this shit.
I remember we had an FBI consultant on the picture telling me that they can use your ADT security box microphone to get your stuff that's going on in your house, or OnStar, they could shut your car down. And he told me that 1 in 5 phone calls that you make are recorded and logged. And I laughed at him, and then he played back a phone conversation I had 2 years prior to joining the picture, the FBI consultant. And it was like one of those phone calls, it was like, what are you wearing type of things.
So listen, right? As he was talking about that shit, it reminded me about the video I seen on TikTok where they said that our phones be taking like flashes of us like every couple seconds or something. It just made me really think like, bro, they really watching and listening to everything we do, bro. It's crazy.